Welcome to the show. Um, yeah, you've got me this week. Steve had an unfortunate start last time with the technical problems he was having. He has fully recovered now, and he will be back soon, as soon as we iron out his technical problems that he was having. As a result, of course, we've got part two of Rick Faulkner's chat with us on tonight. We've also got two video slideshows, one from Paterson and the other one Caroline Walker, using their photographs. Um, so, nothing much to say actually. Just welcome everybody along. I'm just having a look. Oh, Steve Colson, good evening. Yep. Barry Craner, Sylvia Dunn, hiya. So we're off. We're off. Okay, so we'll start with the first video, Paterson. Now, he was based at Tanger until 1968, and these are picture postcards that were given to him as, I suppose, a parting gift from his work colleague, Teresa Lim. So he uploaded them to the website, and I've strung them together with a bit of music, and we'll go straight into that. Um, well, that's Singapore I remember, my time. I suppose many of us can relate to that. Quite a bit of open space and just starting to modernise. Very good. Um, right, we've now got the second part of Rick Faulkner's video chat show, chat with me. This was the one postponed from a fortnight ago, but well worth sticking to it. And he has some interesting tales to tell, does Rick? Here we go. Let's just take you back to Singapore a bit.
Oh, yes.
One of your island trips, the story of the helicopter, RAF rescue.
Yes. Yeah, that was quite good. There's a picture there of Mike Smith holding a flagpole.
Yeah.
And I put that on there. We'd gone to pull out to Kukor which was a long, thin island. Used to dive off it. There's quite deep water off it. Could get down below 100 feet. And there had been an RAF dinghy washed up on the shore. It was all sort of torn to ribbons, but in it, apparently, there was a red flare. And Mike Smith, naughty Mike Smith, picked up this flare. He says, I know what this is, a red flare. And he sort of pulled a pin, threw it into the water. And of course, all the red smoke drifted away.
Yeah.
And we did a lot more of it until the helicopter arrived and started circling and came down and landed on the beach. We all had towels all over the place, sand in the sandwiches.
Crikey.
And RAF chappie came up and he said, red smoke seemed to be drifting off this island. Do you know anything about it? No, I'm not being here all day, mate. Again, something else to feel guilty about. That an RAF dinghy over there? Yeah, that's an RAF dinghy. And red flares in it? No. Anyway, I think that they knew what had happened. They didn't make a big deal of it because I think we're scared that if we'd owned up to it, we'd be in real trouble.
Yeah.
They did fly off. It made life interesting.
Oh, it's
another thing with the island trips, I used to take a bugle with me.
Yeah.
Practice, and in fact, what that I still have to do.
One, yeah.
After all these years, it's actually, it says rugby football winners, 13th Battalion Welsh Regiment, recreational training, winter 1916-17. And it was given to me by an uncle who had been in the Welsh Regiment. In the First World War, he was a very much older character.
Right.
And he gave me that. I think I was about 14 or 15 when he gave me that.
Lovely. Yeah.
That's one of a different sort of island trip was Pulau Ubin. That was in the early days, and the boats that they used to get to the islands there were long and narrow. I think they were only seating 2 by 2. I think you could only get 2 sitting next to each other either side. It was almost like a canoe, very long. And we'd been on the island, and surprise, surprise, it had rained during the day, like it often did. And on the way back from the island, I'd got my clothes up on top of the roof, drying out still.
Yeah.
And I was sitting right at the front in the bows, with the bugles sort of blowing away. And somebody moved from one side of the boat to the other, and the boat sort of really rocked like this. I went straight off into the water. My clothes sank, my towels sank, my flip-flops floated, which was lucky. I sort of surfaced out from underwater, sort of blew all the water out of the bugles, and stuff. Yeah, still works. And anyway, the boat sort of circled back, picked me up. But then deposited at Pongle Point, I had white Speedo bathing costume, bugle, flip-flops, and that was it. And one of the girls had got a spare blouse, which she lent me very kindly. And so it was another 3 bus journeys back to where I lived in a girl's blouse, white Speedos, and a bugle bus.
Oh dear, yeah, embarrassment.
Yeah, it's funny that the locals there, they were so kind, so easygoing. Nobody said anything. They didn't really stare. I was as if it happened every day.
You never know, it probably did.
It may have done. So, picture I've got over there, we've done the smoky pictures and the bugly pictures. Oh yeah, the bugle put into service again. That was another one with the dead dog on an island.
Right.
We got to an island and there was this rather nasty smell. We sort of located this corpse of a dog, poor thing. So we decided to bury it. I think on the picture there's Mick Bedlow, Bruce Colmsey, who's my Australian friend, Bill Neen blowing the bugle. He's now known as William. He comes to Chandos. David Wilson, whom I am in touch with sort of on Facebook, but he doesn't do much with Facebook. And a guy called Chris Tansley, who I haven't heard of since Singapore days.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we're back to the Singapore Swimming Club with Malcolm Newby with his trunks. That he'd got a tear in his trunks, and he cut out a patch in the shape of a hand and very carefully stitched on the back. That's Sheila Holder pointing out the patch, and there's Sheila Glenn with the crash helmet on, and Diane Curtis. So, the other clubby one, the Singapore Swimming Club, I can see me doing a somersault off the top board there, and a handstand dive of some description. Oh, and then being stretched by Malcolm Newby trying to pull me apart. So I was holding onto the 3-meter board.
Yeah.
Bruce Colmsey trying to hold on as well. I used to be 5'6" before that episode. Our dog as well, yes. My parents were having a party one night, and somebody got a letter to post. And I went to post a letter, and there was a couple of girls, sort of daughters of people, at the party. And we all went walking to find the nearest post box.
Mm-hmm.
And this dog sort of followed us back.
Yeah.
Didn't know who he was. I think one of the girls had sort of stroked it and followed us back to the house where the party was, my parents' party. And the dog walked in, and people were making a fuss of it. They thought he was our dog. And he never left. That was it.
They adopted you.
He stayed outside the gates for a little while, and my mother felt sorry for him and then let him inside the gates, and finally he was inside the house.
Yeah.
And we never had a lead for him. We used to take him for a walk. We'd walk, he'd be right at our heels. The most faithful dog you could ever imagine.
Crikey.
And all the time we were there, we had him. And when we knew that we were going to be leaving, we'd found him a home. I think one of the houses next, sort of one houses up. Also, somebody from the High Commission. Well, there wasn't a High Commission then.
Right.
But they were going to take him. And he disappeared. The packing cases came, packing up, and he disappeared. We never saw him again.
Oh, dear.
And people who were going to take him they didn't know what happened to him. He never came back. And I remember my mother being really, really worried because she thought that they'd packed him. And was almost scared when all these sort of wooden crates arrived back in the UK. But when we unpacked him, we were going to find the dog. Yeah. But he wasn't there. So
he
we
must
just
have got wind that you were moving.
Well, it makes you wonder whether he had been abandoned by a family who had returned to the UK.
Quite possible,
personnel.
Yeah.
And he saw the signs and thought that that was it. So he went off to find somebody else.
Yeah.
Just don't know.
Your hand is bandaged there. Is that from the accident, or is that something else?
Yes, that was taken in April '67. When I had the accident, my left femur was broken. And unfortunately, it was only about that much from the top. And they put in what they call a Kunstner nail. I've got it around somewhere. I don't know where it is. I used to use a rule. It's 15 3/4 inches long.
Right.
Anyway, that went down the center of the femur, and where my arm was broken, I had plates and screws.
Yeah.
The nail in the leg started to move after some time. I remember in the bars across the windows, used to have these sort of anti-burglar bars. I used to hang onto these bars and sort of shake, trying to get this thing to fall down because I could feel it sticking up in my hip. And so I had the nail removed after 11 months. And in the arm, the plates and the screws, I could feel them. They're just under the skin. And if I got hit there, it was really painful, sort of squashed against the metal. And so I had those removed that would have been April '67. And that's the result of the bandages still on the arm.
Right. Yeah. Mm.
I've got no more metal work in me.
Yeah.
Yes, this was, I left Singapore 2nd of July, 1967. These are the people that came to see me off.
Yeah.
Mostly from the Singapore Swing Club, but including Dennis Crow at the
Uh-huh.
front, who
I
also comes
recognize
to
him. Yeah.
Chandos.
Yeah.
None of the, oh, Bill Neen is on there. He's also comes to Chandos. None of the others do.
Yeah.
Girl, I don't know which picture you've got sitting up at the back there.
Yes.
Janice Barsanti. She's American. She lives in Oregon.
Right. Yeah.
So haven't seen her since. Terry Hale, unfortunately, he passed away 2005. I think Terry Hale died.
Right.
Malcolm Newby died in 1976,
Yeah.
long time ago. Poor chap. Um, Jill Casey, now Jill Devery, lives in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Colmsey also lives in Australia. Girls at the front there, Corinne Nast and Lorraine Doyle, I haven't seen since Singapore. I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
Ian Jackson at the back, I don't know what happened to him. Lindsay, can't think of a surname at the moment. Oh, Jackson, another Jackson, no relation. I haven't heard of her since. And I think the other chap by the life raft, Tony Vokes, Tony, I think it was Tony Vokes.
Yeah.
Haven't heard of him since either.
Mm. So obviously this was the your leaving do on the boat.
Oh yes, yes, down in the cabin as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Phil Brunsden's there in the cabin on the left. That's Malcolm Brunsden's elder brother.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He used to be part of our sort of group at the Singapore Swimming Club, but I haven't seen him since either. And I think Malcolm's told me that he sort of doesn't come in for the reunions. So I believe he's
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
wherever he is, but
Yeah.
he doesn't join us at Chandos, or
Mm.
hasn't so far anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's quite a few people like that, that
Yeah.
don't tend. I've got a friend up in Scotland who's the same, Um, although he has met people because he drops me off at Tony's house, and when we were up there,
Yes.
so he
Yeah.
met a few people in the house, but he didn't stop for long. He was away. Um, the airport. What's this
Oh, yes,
one?
finally, I just stuck that in. Paya is somewhere that's, I think, possibly the majority of people used to come and go from
That's
Singapore.
right. Yeah.
Oh, so that's how it used to be. That's actually my father coming back from one of his
Yeah.
trips. But the colour photograph has another little story. When I left there in 1967,
Yeah.
post Seoul in 1972, from where I used to have annual leave. And my first annual leave was in 1973, a year after I'd got there. And my parents, my father, had been posted back to the new British High Commission.
Right.
And so I went back on the plane with them via Singapore. I went back to Seoul via Singapore
Mm-hmm.
and had a few weeks with them en route, which was very nice. And we went in a jumbo 747 plane. And some miles out, the pilot came on the intercom and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen," he says, "it could get a little bit bumpy before we land, because we have to test the ILS system every now and then, the instrument landing thing, and we'll be going in on the flight path. I won't be able to dodge the bumps, so sort of bear with us and enjoy the flight," sort of thing. So in we go. And just before we landed, the plane suddenly, because we were going down a nice steady rate, it suddenly took off. Sort of the engines roared away, and the wings came up like that. And so we're almost sort of on the side. And my mother said, "Oh, look, the ships look like they're in the sea or in the air." You know, she could see that all the ships look like they're in the air. And I took the photograph of the airport out of the window. It's at that
Yeah.
weird, sort of strange angle. Anyway, went round and we landed. And it was a long way from the terminal. I don't know whether that had anything to do with it, but we had to walk to the terminal. And my father's predecessor met us at the airport.
Uh-huh.
And he says, "Oh, you caused a bit of strife at the airport there." So I said, "Oh, why?" He said, "Well, just as you were coming into land, a helicopter lifted off and went straight across the runway. And so that the pilot had obviously got to hold back on the stick
Right. Yeah.
to avoid collision." So that was quite an exciting land. And there's the plane landing with all the flaps coming up.
Yeah.
Air brakes. That was our introduction back to Singapore in 1973.
Yeah.
And the other colour pictures of is that what's it called, where Robinson's was? It's not Raffles Place.
Ruffles Square. Yeah.
Raffles Square, Raffles Place. That was in
Raffles Place,
1973,
yeah.
and the Presbyterian Church.
Yeah.
And Raffles Hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, and another one was the school as well. I'm actually not sure whether that was taken in 73 or 74, because I went back in 74 as well.
Yeah.
But it was certainly after it had ceased to be St. John's.
That's right, because there's a new block just
New colour
behind the
scheme.
gymnasium there.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be the what was it? The international school? No, it wasn't. Yes, it was.
Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was called the International School.
That's
And
right.
then
The
after
World.
that, it became the United College or
That's
something
right.
like
The World
World College.
College or something.
Not
Yeah.
sure. I haven't been back. Was I'd got married in between. Just after I got back in 1973, I got married in Seoul in July of 73.
Right.
So the next time we went in 74, I went with my wife, Françoise, and remember meeting Mr. Breeze.
Right.
Remember Mr. Breeze?
Yeah.
He taught me, I was in his English literature class, and also the librarian. People know him from the library.
Yeah.
But he was the only teacher that I happened to sort of bump into, and he remembered me, which was
good.
gratifying for the right reasons. I mean, I think English literature will happen to be my best subject.
Yeah. Aye. Lovely.
I did quite well in his class.
Yeah. The only part of the school left now, from what I understand, is the main hall.
Right.
The reason that's untouched is because of the roof. Designed to look like the Malaysian longhouses or something.
Oh yes. Oh okay. Yes. It would be.
It's got a preservation order on the roof.
Yes. I just realised one of the pictures I put in is of Françoise with mannequin Pisse.
Oh yes.
A little bit of Belgium in the Durand Bird Park. Oh, and a fishing trap as well.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Thrown in for good measure.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Singapore Hotel too, I see. Some people will remember Nico Clark. And I knew that his mother worked in, I think, the hairdressing salon in the Singapore Hotel. And I went there to see if she was still there, and she was. And I spoke to her and asked her about Nico, but he wasn't in Singapore at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it was in
sorry?
Ian Glenn's photos yesterday. Yes. I spotted him.
Yes.
Yes,
I did see that. Another person I did bump into, strangely, was Jeff Vanicek.
Oh, right, yeah.
He was a Changi grammar person, but I knew him from the Singapore Swimming Club.
That's right,
and
yeah.
I was at Kimpo Airport in Seoul, waiting to meet the Queen's Messenger, and he came through. I recognised him. He's sort of coming through customs and immigration.
Lovely, yeah.
And, we said hello, and he was staying at the Chosen Hotel
Uh-huh.
Gave me his card, which I still have knocking about somewhere. But he was on a very tight schedule, so we didn't
Right.
actually get to meet. But that was the last time I saw him. I don't know when that was now, I can't
Yeah.
remember, but it would have been between 72 and 75, which was when I was there.
Mm. Well, hopefully he's still around and may see this video.
Well, I believe he is. I did telephone him once and had a brief chat with him on the phone.
Yeah.
I found his phone number out from nowhere. Or it might have been email. No, I think it might have been email. Yeah, it was years ago now.
Yeah, I know it's happens, doesn't it?
There's another I see Orchard Road too, with the building with the top hat on. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what that was. That was just everything had changed so much,
Oh, I
even
know.
to me, from between 67 and when I went back, in 74, 73, 74, 75. It had changed tremendously.
It's
And now, I mean, I just wouldn't recognize it anymore.
nah, I wouldn't.
Another thing, talking of the Singapore Swim Club, reminds me, on the ship, when these people came to see me off, they
Yeah.
brought me, which is the Singapore Swim Club ashtray, stolen from the club, which I still have.
Yeah.
And they scratched their names all around the edge and on the
Oh,
bottom.
lovely. Yeah.
A
Oh,
bit difficult to read them, but they're still there. And I
yeah.
still have
Oh,
another treasured possession from 50 odd years ago.
yeah, I know. It's isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good keepsake. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Rick, for sharing your memories. Well, hope you enjoyed that chat of Rick's. That was good. Lots of other people turning up now. Lynn, Jean, D. Rick still has his library card issued by me. Good one. Yeah, Winnie, Babs, lovely. Great. It's nice having this little get together, isn't it? Anyway, for the last video, it's Caroline Walker, nee Hurrell, I think it's pronounced. Now, Caroline was at RAF Tenga and St John's 1964-67, and these photos in the video are of St John's and were taken between 65 and 67. Now, she does mention third year, which was the case in the early years of St John's. They did have a third year. So, without further ado, we'll go on with the video. And just to remind you that we're back on in a fortnight's time. I'm trying to get another interview going. Failing that, I'll put some extra video slideshows on. And hopefully Steve will have sorted out his technical problems and he might even join us. Okay, here we go then. And I'll see you in a fortnight.